Hey guys, I am finally live. Man, after a couple of days, maybe weeks of me trying to figure out the right thing to do, finally live. I know it's probably not the best time. This video probably won't have as much people on as I wish it would. We are trying different times, we're trying different tactics. Today, I just want to talk about the top 10 shonen anime, obviously, according to my opinion. I do have the chat up on my other screen here, so if you are in the chat, if you are watching live right now, make sure you shout out there in the chat. Say, hey, I'm here. I will answer questions if there's questions throughout the video. My goal is to make this video about an hour long, depending if there's questions or not. That will be how long it is. So welcome, Siomara. I see your name there in the chat. Welcome. I think you might be one of the only ones, if not someone else. And Nick, welcome Nick as well. There's two of you guys here. So if you guys have questions, top 10, I will talk about top 10 shonen. Uh, First of all, I want to define what shonen is. In the most basic terms, most people will say shonen is essentially anime formed or designated for a teen male. Shoujo would be for a teen female. Now, obviously, that really uh, puts it in a box because obviously girls can still watch shonen and still enjoy shonen very much. So I don't want to say that's all it is. So I do want to say let's not confuse shonen with seinen. Seinen is for an adult audience, definitely more gore, more powerful things that you shouldn't be seeing if you're a teenager or younger. So, um, hopefully that makes a little bit more understanding what a shonen is. Um, Out of my list, and welcome to the chat, Anime Boy. Now we have three. Yeah, we're multiplying. Out of my list, there is going to be four forbidden anime. Now, if you watch other YouTubers and if you really talk to a lot of other people that talk about anime, there's about four animes that are kind of uh, forbidden to really be placed on a top 10 list for different reasons. Um, it could be because they're just very overrated, but it could also be just because the massive amount of content they have, as well as followers already, that they have a huge amount of audience that it really, most of the time, these four will probably be in the top four anyways, or top five anyways. So the four forbidden that I won't be talking about are as follows. There they are. These are the four forbidden that I will not be talking about here in this video. Because one is One Piece. One Piece has 929 episodes. It's a massive anime. Nothing can compare to the size of how huge this anime is. Naruto has a huge following, as well as Dragon Ball, having different series behind it: Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, Dragon Ball Super, as well as the Dragon Ball Kai remake series. And then Bleach. Bleach also has a lot of episodes, has a huge following, really has all four of these, a huge group of people that actually watch them. So I'm not going to include these four at all in my top 10 because it's really not fair. Plus, you probably have heard of these before. Welcome to the chat, Captain Bailey. Remember me, am I wrong? I think you're from Great Britain, international. I think everyone else is from the U.S. But welcome to the chat. Doesn't look like there's gonna be any questions yet, but let's start with at number 10. Now, I formulated this list. And I try not to be so biased because there is a type of anime that I like. It's very obvious. I like action. I like gore. I like horror. So I try to put the different genres of shonen because each anime obviously has multiple genres. A isekai can be a shonen. A Romance can be a shonen, a so there's different ones. So I try to be non-biased. I try to put as much diversity as possible. So in number 10, and this is a shonen. All these are shonen according to my anime list. So my anime list confirmed that all these 10 are shonen in some way or another. So in number 10, Kakeguri. Kakeguri is one that you guys can find on Netflix. I believe it has season one and two already there. It is both subbed and dubbed. It is one that I think most people would say they enjoyed, but were disturbed at the same time. Uh, I'm gonna go back to the screen here. We follow the story of this girl. Essentially, she's new to the school, and the school is all about gambling. And uh, the gamble of it all is to really show how much of a person you are, and it really determines where in life you're gonna end up. So people are really risking their lively styles or their future in these games, and it's very interesting. There's all this concept of debt and all that stuff that will eventually we'll see in the episodes if you watch it. Um, People get too confident in their tricks and in their cheating, and they realize that that maybe it is not the best thing to do to gamble your life. So few questions. Anime Boy asked if the Promised Land is a shonen. So according to my anime list, it is. Nick Victory is saying Kageguri is a shonen. Yeah, it technically is a shonen. A shonen anime, and this is the thing that I'm going to be repeating the entire video. Shonen anime is just a broad genre. Almost a lot of things will fall into it because it really the definition of a shonen anime is determined to who it's catered to, and a lot of this anime is catered to teenager boys. So yeah, it is a shonen anime. Some people will debate a shonen anime is more on action and adventure. Not per se, not everything like that is a shonen. So next one, which most people will say this is a shonen. Number 9. This is probably one of my favorite ones as well. Obviously, it's in this list. Soul Eater. Now, Soul Eater is I don't think it's underrated. I think a lot of people very much so support this series. What I will say is it is one that is not talked much about anymore. I think in its time it was very much overrated. Everyone was watching it. There's this whole controversy on how the I'd say 40% of the anime completely went a whole different direction from the manga. People were kind of upset the endings were different. Different characters did different things. I won't mention too much about that because I want you guys to watch it. But overall, One Piece was a great series. Um, Standalone, if you watch the anime first, which is what I did, I watched the anime first on its own. It was great. Then I read the manga and realized it could have been better. And I think as a viewer, I think you guys should watch it that way. Watch the anime and then read the manga. Because if you read the manga, the anime is gonna seem very much like trash. So if you're gonna watch this Soul Eater series, make sure you watch the anime first and not read the manga first. Say few comments here from Nick saying, not gonna lie, Yumiko having gasm is like a Soma from Food Wars. Oh yeah, most people don't like Soul Eater. Yeah, and this is the reason why, and I explained it because Soul Eater it's so much different from the manga. Very much where Soul Eater came out. I think right now we're in a time where a lot of people, more people than usual, are watching anime more than what we've had before. And when Soul Eater came out, it was in a time where people very much watched anime because they would read the manga. A lot of the anime that was being released here in the U.S. was because it had already a presence of the manga or other stuff like that. So when people were watching Soul Eater, a lot of them knew what was supposed to happen, and when it didn't happen like it was supposed to happen, a lot of people were upset. Um, yeah, so when I said why do I feel like a lot of shonen anime are animes that girls watch? Yeah, so again, shonen. Although that's the definition for it, it very much is not. It's like saying cars are car toys are for boys only. Um, you know, it could have been that maybe 100, 200 years ago, that's why they were made for little boys. But I just bought a little car to my daughter, and she plays with the little car, and she has fun with it. That doesn't mean that the girls can't really enjoy shonen anime. So shonen anime is very much enjoyable for all people. So, anyways, number eight. Number eight is one of the most recent ones, or not the most recent one, but one of the recent ones. That's going to be Doctor Stone. Now, Doctor Stone is, gosh, did it air last year, 2019? I think it was. Oh, that's the wrong page. I'm flipping two pages. Sorry, guys. Doctor Stone is one that aired uh, in 2019. It was for 2 seasons, right? It was about 24 episodes. Pretty good anime. It very much, you can say, was sort of easy kai, not really, but it essentially is in the future. They were made into rock, and they came out of the rocks, and then there was this whole civilization that they had to create. Very great premises. I think a lot of people like the premises and how everything was explained through science. Um, I think it definitely needs to be on the list because it has defined a lot of the shonen anime series of today. It was very unique. I really thought it should belong in the top 10. Now, I did not think it belonged in the top 5 purely because they were a lot of in between episodes that were, not the best. Um, some of the episodes that we saw in the middle were very much like get to the point, get to the point. And so Doctor Stone, although is a great series overall, I think the intense episodes were about a fourth of it. The rest was kind of, it was good, it was interesting, but it dragged a bit. So, anyways, at number 7, this is going to be probably the only ecchi one. Um, Now, obviously, shonen targeting young boys, they're gonna like the etchiness. A lot of these do have etchy scenes, but number 7 is gonna be the etchiest of etchiest, and this is a guilty pleasure of mine. I've actually seen this series about 3 times, maybe 4, um, and I'm thinking of watching it again just for fun. And number 7, the only etchy is High School of the Dead. Now, if you don't know what High School of the Dead is, uh, that's still good. High School of the Dead, I think, released 2000, was it 16, 2017? It's been a minute now. It was a series that really much attracted 2 different groups of people: the zombie group of people and the etchy group of people. The physics of High School of the Dead were very so much comical and very much on the etchy side. A lot of people really enjoyed it for the wrong reasons. The writers knew what they were doing, the producers knew what they were doing. But the zombie part of it was also pretty much amazing. Like the first 2 episodes, I would say 3 episodes, were epic. Them escaping the school, them getting out into a different building and finding weapons and all this stuff. Uh, there were pretty good. Nick Victory was guessing D&D. No, not D&D. It's not uh, high school D&D. Now, high school D&D is another guilty pleasure of mine, and pretty much would have been, I think, a shonen But because the unrated version is very much a lot of nudity, I would say High School D&D falls more on the seinen end of the spectrum. Um, High School Dead is very close to adult, but it doesn't show nudity where it's very much still for teenager boys. I would say this is one that I would recommend to those that want to watch that kind of stuff. For those that don't want to watch that kind of stuff, then don't watch it. Unless you're a diehard zombie um, genre watcher, then watch that series because you should have it under your belt at least. High School of the Dead sounds interesting, Siomada. Yeah, you can watch it. It's up to you. I would say it's etchy. There's adult scenes. Um, no, nothing is showing, but I would say the adult scenes. Nick Victory says, "Too bad we're never gonna get a season two." Yes, too bad we're never gonna get a season two. We got an OVA and then never got never got a season two. So, um, anyways, on number six, and this is the last of the uh, latter version of the top 10, the Promised Neverland. And it was mentioned here already by, I think it was the anime boy who mentioned it there in the chat. The Promised Neverland aired, was it last winter? I believe it was last winter. Um, 2019 winter, or it could have been 2018 fall. Um, don't have those numbers on top of my head, but it was around that time. The Promised Neverland is probably one that has been very successful in overall in Japan and also in the Western Hemisphere. When it came out, everyone talked about it. Everyone talked about the first episode, and then so on and so forth. Like they talked about other stuff, and very much still is talked about. I think The Promised Neverland is liked for the psychological aspect of it, but after season one, it's going to be more of a survival aspect, less than psychological. So it could very much season two damage the way people see it because the anime did a great job with it, but with what it did to the Promised Neverland is that it made it very much so similar to a scary movie here in the U.S. that I feel like when they see season two, which is the next part in the manga, uh, it's going to be different for people. It's not going to be very suspenseful. It's going to be more of a survival anime. So uh, I would say it is for a good group of people. I think it is a definitely an anime that's changed the genre quite a bit. Um, and I think it deserves respect here in this list. Okay, we're gonna see some comments here. Captain Billy says the physics on High School of the Dead are great. Yes, they are. Zumara, I love the Promised Neverland. Oh, I love it too. Um, Promised Neverland. Yes, I was gonna say that, Nick. Yeah. The next season is bumped into 2021. A lot of these animes are being bumped quite a bit. I don't think it was supposed to air in fall 21, but it got bumped into that now. So quite a bit of these animes are being pushed back. Oh yeah, he just said that they're being pushed back because of the virus. Yes, a lot of these animes are being pushed back. In fact, One Piece, Black Clover, a lot of the bigger animes, they've actually gone on waiting time. We haven't had an episode in like 4 weeks. So a lot of these animes are not releasing episodes anymore until they can get back to work. They can get back to um, you know a regular life without them exposing themselves too much to the virus. Um, it very much depends on how the virus ends up being in Japan. I know they went back to work at one point, and now they've reclosed Japan again, so they just have to be careful. Um, Boo, too long. Yes, it is too long. I wish they could release it at least winter of 2021, not fall. That's like a whole year and a half. Okay, now we're going to the top five. Now, top five, uh, very much are close to my heart. I think every single one of these except maybe one. There's one that I added on the top five, and I'll explain later that I don't think it deserves to be there, but everyone probably would put this one on top five. So I was not going to be a sore loser, and I just added it. But I will announce number five and four, and then after five and four, I'm going to talk about the ones that came close to being top 10. There's four that I'm showcasing, but there's really a fifth one that I forgot about and I just remembered. I'll talk about those later. Number five. Number five is probably our only uh, romance focused on anime. Shonen does have romance, and if you were to compare a shonen romance with a shoujo romance, they're very different. um, yeah, they're very different. It's kind of hard to explain how they're different, but I guess the way the characters act um, in a shonen romance between a shoujo romance are quite different. But on the only romance and probably one of my favorite anime, I think most of you guys know what this is. Your Lie in April. Now, Your Lie in April is one that, man, has changed me completely in how I see anime. I think before Your Lie in April, I hadn't really considered romance anime too much, and Your Lie in April, had a very hardcore music aspect to it, and I connect the most with music, like a lot of people. I connect a lot with music, and the fact that they were able to just make a beautiful anime on a tragic but very beautiful romantic series. I really appreciate it, and I think more and more anime should come out that is like this one. I think Your Lie in April is very unique in itself. That it gave us a twist at the end, as well as it really showcased old music. From the classical era, from the um, romantic era, and the Renaissance era that a lot of people probably would find boring. They revamped it. They gave it some love, and man, beautiful, beautiful series. I myself competed in high school with the viola, and it's bigger than a violin, but it's like a violin in high school, and as well as I learned saxophone in high school or in middle school and high school. And I'm a musician. I like to sing. I like to play instruments. So very much how the struggles that I saw through them was very good. But also the background stories of each character, very well done. I think out of all the romantic shonen, that's probably one of the ones that you kind of have to watch. I believe it is on. I believe it is on Netflix still. You guys can find it in other places as well. I think like Crunchyroll, but I think Netflix has the dub version, so you guys can go watch it there. Some comments here. Yes, romance, nice. The memories. I cried so much watching. Yeah, I cried on this one too. Uh, yeah, the hits in the feels for a long shot. Yeah, so this one is an anime that I've watched that I probably watched the most. From beginning to end. I think I've watched this one like 10 times already. And I've cried in the ending like maybe 5 times, maybe half the time of those times I've cried, or at least teared up very much. Yeah, it hit right in home. This is definitely a series that is not talked a lot about. Um, People do mention it, and when I mention it, everyone remembers it. But it's very much being forgotten. And I have a little figurine of her right there. If you guys have never seen it, she's there watching over. But oh well. Ah, the memories. Number four is I think one that really defines what a good shonen anime should be. And here we go. Assassination Classroom. Assassination Classroom is another one that I think can be found on Netflix. I could be wrong on that. It might not be on Netflix. Um, but it is dubbed and subbed because I remember starting it dubbed and then I eventually changed to subbed. But anyways, it's great series. Um, this series follows this teacher. I'm going to go back to the screen. Follows a teacher here who is in the tentacle right there in the teacher suit, and he's basically a being that cannot be killed and is now training a whole classroom to be assassins. And all these kids are essentially their goal or their goal is to assassinate their teacher, and he's training them to assassinate him. They try. So, great series. If you see how many characters there are in that series, they very much hit almost every character. And this is what I liked about this series is that even though they had 30 plus characters on this series and it was like a 25 episode anime, it did a good job on not leaving a lot of characters in the background. It showcased the characters like it should do, and it gave us some stories for quite a bit of them. It also very comical, very much action wise. I would say there's some suspense to it as well as mystery to why he's like that. We get a whole good plot story on this character, on this teacher, and if you haven't seen it, it's a have to. The ending, I think, it really got people to some people were iffy about it. I think when it first was being aired, but with the ending, oh man, it just if you didn't think it was a great anime, the ending gives you just the feels and recommended, highly recommended. I think if you have not seen it, you probably have or should. Sorry. A few more comments here. Yep, still on Netflix. I watched it 30 times already. Uh, made me cry too. You can find it that on Hulu. So I guess you can find Assassination Classroom on Hulu. I do have Hulu, so I don't know where I watched it. Um, I don't know where I watched it to be honest. Okay, before we hit the top three, a few things. Thank you so much for those who are in the chat. Hopefully, this podcast grows. I will be doing this every 2 weeks. So next week there won't be a podcast. Every 2 weeks I'll be doing a top 10 podcast. And for example, today it's Shonen. In 2 weeks, I'm not really sure. I think I'm gonna be focusing on a more less broad genre. Um, Let me know in the chat what you guys want on the next top 10. There's only about three or four of you guys right now actually in the chat live with me, so you guys can have the say. What do you want to be the next top 10 podcast here in my channel? Uh, and I'll bring it out for you guys in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, that's the magic number. Um, Thank you so much for subscribing. If you have not done so, do subscribe. I mean, I'm kind of saying this in the middle. Uh, Probably if you are watching this, you probably have already subscribed. But if you haven't, then do so. We reached 3,200 yesterday. Very exciting. Almost every day, I'm getting about 5 to 10 subscribers, which means that my next goal for June is to reach 3,300. I think it's very much possible, and if I really push it, I might get 3,400. Who knows? Hopefully, who knows? 3,300 though is my humble goal, and hopefully by the end of this year we can reach 4,000. Um, so every other week, yeah. So every other week is when I'll be posting podcast videos on top 10. Uh, do the top 10 on romance or harem animes. Oh, okay. I've actually watched quite a bit of harem and romance anime, so I can probably do that. Top horror, top 10 romance. I think top 10 romance seems to be the common denominator, at least between two people. Not a lot of people in the chat, but looks like maybe the next one might be top 10 romance, and then top 10 horror, top 10 harem will be in my mind for another time as well. So Cool. To our next point. Next point is I'm going to be showcasing four, and I'll talk about a fifth one as well. Shonen animes that almost made this top 10 list, but not quite there yet. And here they are. Uh, every single one of these four animes are quite different from each other. On the top left corner, you get Nizikoi. Nizikoi is a Nizikoi is a romance shonen anime. I would say also harem, which but it's very much focused on two girls to be honest, the blonde girl and the girl and with black hair. But essentially, it's about a boy who uh, made a promise to a girl a very long time ago, and he's trying to figure out who the girl is. He grows up and doesn't know who the girl is, so it's gonna be between one of those two girls. In the right corner is the seven deadly sins. It's a great series, but I will say I kind of feel like it's kind of gone downhill. Season one was great. Season two was good, and season three was all right. So I didn't put it in my top 10 because I don't think it has done as well as it should have done. So for now, it's not in my top 10. In the left bottom corner is That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. It is an easy kai anime, and this one is definitely one that I think uh, marked and changed the easy kai world in somewhat because it gave us a huge uh, construction of a world, uh, very much detailed, and it was great. I thought it was an amazing anime, but it just didn't make top 10 yet. So sorry about that. It hasn't made top 10. And then the bottom right corner is Deadman Wonderland. Also a great series. Never really finished. Horror, survival. But still didn't make top 10 whatsoever. So these are the four that could have made it, but didn't quite make the cut. The fifth one that I want to mention that I kind of remember right now is Goblin Slayer. Goblin Slayer is also one that kind of really changed the spectrum of um, how we see anime. It very much can take you in a whirlwind. Episode one was probably the most talked about in last year's anime series. So, wow, quite a bit of people join in. Welcome, Pyro. Welcome, TK Day Saints. Welcome, Salina Mintra, to the chat. Quite a bit of you guys are joining in here on the chat. So welcome to all you guys. So yeah, Nisekoi is the one I recommend you, Shimada. It is one that I think should be good. Pyro says Seven Deadly Sins went to downhill. We'll quote it that way in season three. Yes, it did. It really did. So I'm glad everyone was aware of that. Selena Mintra says, "Oof, I'm late." Yeah, not too late. We're about to talk about the top three, so I'll mention those right now. Shimano again, season three sucked, and Nick Fury, Easy Kai Slime, season two sadly comes next year. Yes, it was supposed to be here this year, but COVID-19 is just ruining anime and it's pushing everything back. And I'm surprised that we're gonna have anime in the next series, in the next season, um, which is the summer is next. Yeah, summer is next. I am. I, I want to be surprised that we have anime there. Anyways, Pyro says, "Have you seen Jitama? Jitama? I don't think I've seen Jitama." Okay, in number three, and this is one that was loved by so many people. I loved it myself. I reacted to that one in my channel. It is Demon Slayer. Now, Demon Slayer is one that follows the life of this boy. Had a tragic start of the life. I won't mention it for those who haven't seen it yet. Uh, but essentially, in this series, we get some of the best action series. We get some of the best um, what guys like to call waifus. The little girl is just a cute lolly character. We get some of the best scenes when it comes to graphic design. It was amazing. Soundtrack was amazing. I think this anime is something that other producers should be watching at and saying this is how we should create it. Now, this anime was mostly made in 2D, and I think it very still shows that 2D is still very much possible to do an amazing job. A lot of animes now are moving to 3D. One, because it's faster to produce animes through 3D, but also, they want to work with newer technology. They want to work with newer and better technology, which is fine, but 2D is still great, and this anime did define that and did show us that it can still be amazing in 2D. Demon Slayer, genre wise, obviously shonen, but I would also put it in suspense, survival. Oh, well, not so much survival, but you can say survival. Suspense, survival. I would say a little bit of gore. On the fight scenes, especially with demons, there's quite a bit of gore. So for those who are easy in the stomach, maybe not for you, but I think it's not as bad as Tokyo Ghoul, but it's still, there's some blood. Some people don't like blood. So great anime, defined what should be done when it comes to multiple things in an anime. And I think, that it should be recognized as a top three for now. Oh, sorry guys, I need to drink some stuff. I can't be talking about a whole hour without drinking something. Okay, some of the comments here before I move on to top number two. 10 animes got hit from summer season, sadly. Oh, gosh. We're not gonna have any animes in the summer. Demon Slayer was overhyped, to be honest. I don't think it was overhyped. Because overhyped means before it came out, people made a big deal about it. I don't think a lot of people made a big deal about it before it came out. A lot of people made a big deal about it once it was out. So I would say, if anything, overrated in a way, but not so much. It's like saying One Piece is overrated. One Piece can, I mean, it can be overrated with some people talking about it. Oh wow, it has 900 episodes. It's great. It's an amazing anime. Blah blah blah. But it still kind of reaches its glory point. I think Demon Slayer did a great job, and I wouldn't say that it's a overhyped anime. I just started watching Demon Slayer. Chiamata, good. You keep watching it. uh, Lots of soda. Yeah, I'm trying to actually cut down soda, which is why I've been alternating on water and soda. But whatever. I still drink. I'm still drinking some soda. I'm just cutting down on it. Okay, number two. Number two. This is gonna be one that. This is the one that I don't think it deserves my type five, but a lot of people are gonna mention this. I think when you think of shonen, most people today are gonna think about this anime. I'm gonna let you guys guess in the chat right now what this anime is. Yeah, I think you guys know what it is, but this anime is probably anime that if you say shonen, oh, it's this anime, right? If you don't include Dragon Ball, Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach, this is the anime most people are gonna mention. Number two, I hope you guys have guessed it. Yeah, you guessed it. Or probably not. I haven't seen the chat yet. My Hero Academia. Now, My Hero Academia is a great anime in itself, but I think, in my point of view, this is the anime that I would say is overrated. If any of these animes on my list would be overrated, it's this one. Why do I say this? I think it's overrated because the way it was released and the attraction that it got was very much not so much of an anime attraction. The reason that it got so much love in the US is because it was released during a prime time of hero um, stories. I guess you can say that. Let's see, we're in season 4 now, right? Season 4 of My Hero Academia. So that means it got released in was it maybe 2017, 2016 when it first came out. My Hero Academia is one where it came out where the U.S. was just pumping out, and the U.S. is still doing that, pumping out superhero movies like nobody's business. Which is, you bring a superhero anime here in the U.S., it's gonna do great because you don't attract just the anime viewers, but you attract all the other viewers, and it's very much so. If you are on TikTok, on Twitter, on Snapchat, on any social media, Instagram, Facebook, the My Hero Academia crowd, it's very much so newer anime viewers as well as non-anime viewers. And there's obviously a lot of anime viewers that are hardcore anime viewers that watch it. I myself still watch it. I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it deserves top five. I think it's an overrated anime in the sense that people say it's the best when there's so many other animes that are doing better when it comes to quality, when it comes to plot, when it comes to soundtrack, when it comes to being unique. Um, so many people caught the fact that uh, My Hero Academia was copying the endings and openings to other animes. They were very much just doing the same thing other people were doing because that's what was selling for the other anime communities, and people were like, okay, this is just like the other anime. So there's other animes that are unique, and you can give a list of things of why My Hero Academia should not be in the top five. Now, is it doing great when it comes to sales, when it comes to views, when it comes to people talking about it, when it comes to popularity? Yes, it has all that, and I think that's what it was aiming for. It's not aiming for we have the best story. It's aiming for we're the most popular, and I think that very much shows you how the world runs. Because that's the truth for almost anything. Popularity doesn't mean that you're going to be the best person in the world. That just means that you know how to run the world. And My Hero Academia, I'm watching you. I'm watching you, My Hero Academia. You've gone downhill and you know it. But people got you guys will put it in top five. I know you guys would. Let's see. Yep, it's in season 4 for Seven Deadly Sins. Saina Mintra. Oh, My Hero on second place. Yes, second place. And I didn't even want to put it in second place. Captain Billy, I knew it. My Hero Academia is great. My Hero Academia. Can't wait for season 5. To be honest, I'll be happy if Attack on Titan, Attack on Titan. What's the other one? Full Metal Alchemist, Brotherhood, or High School. Eight. Hunter x Hunter gets number one. Although not sure they're all shonen. Yeah, actually, all those are shonen. The problem with all those, Captain Billy, is that I haven't really finished them. Uh, mm, Sorry about that. Number one, and number one is one that I think as today, because it could change next year. But as of today, I think this one defines what a shonen anime should be doing, um, has been doing, and I think it's one that is not too overrated. In fact, I think more people hate it than love it. And to be honest, my top five can be interchangeable. It depends on my day, really. But I put this one number one because I think overall, I think shonen. When I think of shonen, this is the first one that comes to mind, and that's gonna be Black Clover. Hate me if you want. You guys can hate me all you guys want, but I think Black Clover for now deserves to be number one. If you were to compare any of these animes to the top four forbidden animes that I showcased in the beginning of the episode or on the podcast, which are these four right here: Naruto, One Piece, Dragon Ball, Bleach. These four defined shonen. These four gave us the understanding of what shonen should look like, I think if you were to compare any of these top 10, any of them, I think Black Clover would definitely tell you uh, what that this is what shonen should look like. Today, I think Black Clover is doing good. A lot of people are watching it. A lot of people are talking about it now. It had a rough beginning, and a lot of people judge Black Clover for that. A lot of people say, "Well, if you're gonna have a rough beginning, and it takes 30 episodes to get better, then you're not that good of an anime." And I understand that. I completely understand all that. But at the same time, One Piece kind of had a rough beginning too. I mean, it was good, but it was not that good when it first started. And now it's amazing. I mean, you talk about maybe episode 200, it's when it got really, really interesting. Um, Naruto was kind of the same way. The first season was kind of but then it got really good, eventually. Um, any of these other ones that you guys can mention are very much like that. Dragon Ball, not a lot of people talk about Dragon Ball. What everyone remembers is Dragon Ball Z. That was the epic era of Dragon Ball. Now, I would say I actually kind of like a lot of the Dragon Ball episodes, but in general, Dragon Ball Z did good. So Black Clover very much is similar. It kind of had a rough beginning, but it was really introducing characters, and now it's in the part where it's doing amazing. It has opened up a whole world. Kingdoms are being revealed. New characters are being showcased. We are learning more about the demons that are roam around the people, the curses. There's so many things on this series, plot wise, that I think deserves praise. Now, if you were to compare my top two, My Hero Academia and Black Clover in itself just has it has a better plot. I think My Hero Academia has beautiful characters. It has colorful colors, I guess. But Black Clover just has an amazing plot, amazing animation group that's been doing a great job. I have at one point criticized their animation, but overall, still great animation. I would say that the soundtrack is also amazing. I'm sorry if I make people mad to put this one on my number one, but Black Clover deserved to be there. Anyways, I'll be happy. Let's see other things if you guys put here in the chat. Shunning the I better know number one. Don't tell me. TOG, 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 TOG. What is TOG? I don't know. Uh, I mentioned it from the start. Oh yeah, you did. You did mention Black Clover from the start. Uh, I love Black Clover. Yeah, good. I am shocked, but I guess I need to watch it now. It's gonna get a new miracle for Hunter x Hunter to come back. Dragon Ball is kind of dead. I remember Black Clover was what you did in the giveaway and talked about a lot, so I have a feeling for number one. So yeah, Black Clover was my number one. Hunter x Hunter. I A lot of people had told me you have to watch Hunter x Hunter. You have to watch Hunter x Hunter. I actually will watch Hunter x Hunter. It is in my list, but it is a very lengthy anime, so I'm actually gonna catch up on One Piece, which I'm almost there. I am actually now on episode 904 currently. I think I said 902 in the Discord this morning. Well, I've watched some episodes. I'm in 904 now, so I'm gonna catch up on One Piece. If I would have not excluded the Forbidden Four, One Piece would have been my number one for sure. My number one, One Piece. If that's not forbidden, I would have put in One Piece in number one. But I did that forbidden list, so there's that. One Piece. Once I finish that one, I will watch Hunter x Hunter. I do also have Full Metal Alchemist on my list to watch or to finish watching. I believe I started the Full Metal Alchemist, the original one. A lot of people are telling me just skip that one and watch Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. So I'm gonna do that. Let's see, Tower of God. Tower of God. Literally, when I started watching you and you talked about Black Clover, I've talked about Black Clover quite a bit because they're like in episode 100 140 something, 150 something now, I think. That they've been releasing Black Clover for quite a bit, and I've been watching and reacting to Black Clover for quite a bit. So I will say Black Clover is close to my heart. Tower of God is doing better. I didn't expect it to be as good as it is. Um, for a webtoons anime, pretty good. I'm excited to see what else Crunchyroll is going to be doing with their series. I know they have a few more planned out. I hope they release the next one. I think there's one more. There's one being released in the summer. I'm reacting to Tower of God. I have to catch up with some episodes because I went traveling. You know, I travel to have fun. So uh, I missed a few episodes, so I need to react to some of those episodes. I'll release them probably sometime here. I didn't even consider mentioning anime from the current season, but yeah, there's quite a bit of top tip list that I'm contemplating making. Harem is in my list now, but I also had already romance. I had already been thinking about it. Horror, obviously, I love horror, and I think I'm gonna do like a horror and then I'm going to do a survival because there's horror anime, but then there's also survival anime, which can be very different. Um, and then I'm also thinking about isekai, listing my top 10 isekai. I'm also thinking about listing my 10 shoujo anime that I've personally watched. And top 10 shonen, I can bring shonen back and list top other new top 10 of shonen for you guys. I'm going to read some of these comments now here in the chat. They've been coming out as I talk. It says, yeah, One Piece has a special place in my heart and one of my favorites, although I acknowledge all the flaws the anime has. Webtoon, One Piece is like over 20 years old. Yeah, yeah. I mean, One Piece, if you were to compare like sales, manga sales, anime views, I mean, almost in every spectrum, One Piece wins over a lot of these spectrums. You know, I think My Hero Academia has the record of the best anime movie here in the Western sphere, but One Piece is still doing really, really well, even now, with 20 years behind its back of being released, with the fact that Four Kids did a horrible job here in the U.S. and really put a lot of people, pushed a lot of people away from the anime. I think it's done a great job. And that should be acknowledged. That should really be acknowledged that One Piece, I think, is probably the shonen of shonens. If there were to be, on top of all, I would say One Piece. Naruto, not even close. Bleach, not even close. And then Dragon Ball, I would say Dragon Ball can come close, but like Nick said earlier here in the chat, Dragon Ball pretty much has died out. Not a lot of people are talking about Dragon Ball anymore. Ever since Dragon Ball Super kind of finished, it really hasn't done well. Dragon Ball sales has really done that good. I think the only thing that's being released right now is the Dragon Ball Super manga, which you guys can buy here in the U.S. I think they're up to volume 6 or 7 now. But even that, not a lot of people are even buying that. It's just not a series that attracts a lot of people like it wish it did. So I would say One Piece overall knocks everything down. Welcome to the chat, Leatherwolf. We're towards our end of this podcast, but welcome to here. It says you better do a top 10 animes who have great plot, if you know what I mean. I I can tell you in that I would include uh, High School DxD for sure. I'd be there. Um, High School of the Dead would be there as well. Um, man, there's a few that I watched that I thought would be good. Anyways, for a very short time, yeah. So welcome to the chat, Leatherwolf. We are going to end this pretty soon. Anyways, thank you guys again for getting me to 3,200. Share this video you guys are watching right now in the chat, or if you're watching this as a pre-recorded video, make sure you share this so other people can see the top 10 that I have here on Shonen. Thank you so much for your love and support. I'm going to name the top 10 off the back again, so just so you guys know which ones were. Number 10, Kakeguri. Number 9, Soul Eater. Number 8, Doctor Stone. Number 7, High School of the Dead. Number 6, The Promised Land. Number 5, Your Lie in April. Number 4, Assassination Classroom. Number 3, Demon Slayer. Number 2, My Hero Academia. And number 1, Black Clover. It really, I think, did a great job. There's a few that I could have placed, and I mentioned some of those. Another one that I should have placed, uh, I would say Radiant was another one that I really love, and it's very underrated, but I didn't place it because I don't think it deserves top 10 for now. But I will have another list for you guys in 2 weeks, and that's going to be a romance anime according to what you guys are asking. So I will release that one. I will go live again. I will go into my Discord and ask you guys again, maybe in a week, if 4 p.m. on Saturday still works for you guys, or if you guys prefer a nighttime, like at 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. on a Saturday, or if you prefer an earlier time, like at 1 or 2 p.m. on Saturday. I don't know. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the Discord. Thank you guys for your love support. Guys, I hope you guys go support me. Like, comment, and share on this video. Share this video for sure. Um, Subscribe if you haven't done so. And guys, like always, don't be strangers. See you guys next